Freaking cache my snares. Gonna be a bit too roomy. But we can tighten it right up like that. It might still fit. Nah. Nah, do you know what? If I go sample archive and look for my snare on Drive in general, I should have, yeah, this guy. This is a snare that I made ages ago. I loads, just fits in so many tunes. FM8 snare. Good evening, guys. For some reason, I can't see any of your chats, which is interesting. But they're pinging on my phone. So let's figure that out real quick, shall we? Boom. Can we do that? There we go. Thanks for YouTube notifications, huh? Boom. You guys hear me all right? Hear the track all right? Good evening, dude. You okay? That rolls nicely. Nice one, Gimbal. Thank you. Bit harsh, that top line. It bounces nicely though. So something I do instead of dropping that down the fader, I know those hi-hats are going to be too high, just drop them by 6 on gain instead, so it's easier to mix later. Create like a little hat shuffle out of this at the end here. We do that. Is just gradually pitch these up just by well, we could do it like a whole half octave. Yeah, that goes. Might sound absolutely horrendous. It might work. But we try these things out. B7. Yeah, like that. That'll do. So I'll loop. A little shaker to make that snare move in a little bit. Let's just find a shake sample. That will do. And what we want to do here is bring it before the snare. I'm going to jump into Inspector, bash it in reverse. I want this to be super tight. Just get that effect of like sweeping into the snare. Logic's doing the thing where it glitches out when you zoom in, but that should be about right. That's cool. So it just gives like a little sweep in effect and makes it feel like the snare's swinging, even though it's bang on. And it'll work quite nicely if we do every other one instead of. Yeah, we'll roll with that. Every other one, come on. Bang on. Let's have a little play around with this lead line. I just played that in testing the stream before. It is Hive, and if we copy that, it's what the AZ error sub preset. And for some reason, my MIDI controller keeps dropping out, but here we are. We just gave it like. Something like that, and just recorded that in. It gives kind of like a little melody that I'm feeling, but I reckon we can make the sound our own. And then there's some space in there for like some other bassy bits to come through. Let's see what we can do with this. Feeling. Maybe we can play around with the automation on that. So, the little trick that I do for automation is literally just switch it into touch. And then just move about anything like I'm going to automate. Automatically makes a lane for me. Then I can go back and play with it in a minute. maybe we could play around with the glide time as well a bit. What's everyone up to this evening? Everyone on banned house duty in the UK and, well, pretty much across the world for this whole Corona jazz, right? I wonder if that works better in mono. Let's try messing around with this. Okay, so if we do something like that. Bring that around there and dip it back out for that note. Okay, not so much. Bring just those two up, and then a little arc there again. Yeah, that's an alright little melody, isn't it? Don't really know what else to do with the synth. I feel bad using pretty much a preset and just tweaking it a little bit, but hey, we're there really quickly, and that's where the inspiration comes from. I think we should probably do something with the top line. I reckon we can get like a nice ride in there. What should we do with it? Let's grab another instance of complete control in. I'm sure we can find and play something in. Oh, thanks, dude. Let's have a look. Don't know why you keep disconnecting. Yeah, Drum Lab, probably a good shout. Let's see what we can find. If you feel like loading at any point whatsoever, that would be superb. Finally, the plugin usually loads dead quickly and then takes ages to find all the samples. I think there's going to be something we can do in there. So we don't need it for these first 8 bars, that's for sure. We're going to copy that. So we've now got a 16. And we'll look to have something go on in the next set here. We've got a little bit of change, but we can still roll the melody around a bit. And hopefully to cheat and quick quantize with some swing like that. Try bringing this down the other way on transpose, just see what happens. I just did all of them to the they all moved slightly differently. Let's see how that flexes. Yeah, a little bit different feel, that's cool. Just going to free up a little bit of space in between some of these hat hits. Like that, I reckon. Yeah, it just gives a different feel. I like that. Super quick edit. Vocal sample or something to go in there. Let's see if we put the classic in here, what can we find? I wonder, is there a little something in there that we can have a little play with, like that. Them up. I reckon about 3/4 of an octave. Ooh, way too much. 3. The laugh ain't working. Bin that off. Let's find something else. Tonight.
And there's nothing I don't do.
Actually,
I put my life.
What was that tonight one?
I put my life on the line so you can have your way. And when you.
Was it not that? Surely it was. Oh god, that's the whole bundle.
And when you know we're all. You're. I put my life. I put my life. And when you know. And there's nothing.
No. Oh.
Just gonna make that a tiny little phrase. Kind of hide it in there. That's the idea. Yeah, that will do. Take the volume down a touch. Take the gain down anyway. To give it that feel of like a dodgy cutaway break, you know what I mean? If you lot are just dead quiet or my chat's frozen up again, but either way I'm enjoying this. Just copied Hive, gonna try and get some kind of drum and bass line vibe going on. Don't really know what to do yet, but we'll work it out. Yeah, I have Loopcloud. Actually worked with those guys quite a bit on it. The problem is live streaming wise, it locks up massively. Otherwise I would do it. I did an early session with it and it was just a friggin' nightmare on live stream. I think we're gonna have to start something fresh. Well, if you didn't want to sit and watch me make presets, then that is what it is. Okay. Do why are you not coming through? This is where people freak out and realize that Hive's basically Serum. How are we going to do you? Let's try this out. That's just not quick enough, is it? We're going to pull that the other way on that. What did we lead off? Off the D. Hey-oh. It's just too low. Put Saturn on the bass. Yeah, I can put Saturn on the bass. I like to try and get it as much as I can out of the synth before going onto other plugins. I need to get the melody sort of sound as well. Kind of works. This middle bit here is just a bit meh. Lower notes. I think the lower notes are taking too long to get there, which is what's making it seem weird. So, did that. Or it just needs its own space straight out. So where we've got this, I'm gonna fit that whole thing in instead. There we go. A lot quicker. Or let's bin the whole thing off, copy that over and just roll with it. and CD. What are we doing with Saturn? That middle section needs cleaning up or reducing. The other thing, it's getting well in the way of the snare to the point that I'm going to do something you'll think's ridiculous but works. So on FileFilter, go to the sidechain input where it says my snare sharp, because that's what that snare is called. It will show up here on the analyzer. And see how the fundamentals right around that area. My super sharp snare, it's right up at about 300. Instead of just dipping that, I'm going to change this to a straight up notch and just take all of that area out. You won't even notice it's gone because it's filled by the snare most of the time. And now the snare cuts through instant, just it's back in the mix. live. We're going to call it 14.3.20 because we're boring as shit. We are going to try something as well on this bass that's gnarly. Still needs loads of control. I'm just going to try and control it a little bit within Hive itself with a bit of compressor right at the end. Holding it a little bit better. So let me show you this gnarly little trick I use on this bass line. It's already nice and wide. I'm going to take it and make it ridiculous, but in theory it's still going to work in mono. So on my stereo bus here, let's go and grab utility, let's go gain stereo, and the reason we want this is because it's got a nice quick mono switch on it, just that. So in mono, that's super boring and gritty, but at least it's there, right? And we're now going to send this to another bus. Bus 1 will do. And I've got my own preset saved called Wide Aux. That's going to load some plugins for me. I'm going to send that to the bus at max and then dial it back probably about -6. Want to make sure we can still hear it all in mono. Might have to swap the EQ around. Yeah, need to bring the EQ in front of that reverb instead. No, with that said, that was actually sound before. Heard it. Cool, so it still works in mono. When I switch mono off, this is going to sound ridiculous. And that's my preset before we've tweaked it. How ridiculous is that? And it still works in mono straight away from my preset. vibe into those drums, I reckon there's room for a break in there just to help it shuffle along a bit more. And yes, I did literally just type in break into my sample library and it does this. Can I get away with a 1 bar break in the background? Really? Can I? I think I can, you know. Those snares need to come down though, so get this out. Put scissor mode on, hold option, cut, boom, everything cuts exactly the right distance. We select that snare, we hold shift, we select the other snare, we open up inspector and we go gain -6. And now the snares are balanced. And we snip that off on the end here. That should be good to go. That was disgusting. Purer without it, but then if we have that nice and chill in the background, that's going to sit in there really quite nicely, I reckon. Find out. Do with that break is we'll have it in the second section where I'm going to go heavy on that bass line instead. Let's do the same loop section of the drums so they can have their own vibe a second time round, but this time go from one to the other like this. Got that extra jungle break in the background. I'm going to kill the melody and do something with this bass, but what? Or do we strip it back from the bass and just have this in maybe instead? I don't know. What we could do is we could double that up and we'll make like a bass version of that same sub. I mean, it is a sub anyway. And then we've just got like a bit of a bass swap. Maybe that'll work. Maybe it'll fail. That's what we do. If I do that and we just drop it an octave, we'll have an idea really quickly. mute out that and mute out that. Bring you back to there. Leave that for a sec. How about you? But we drag out the melody so the bass never drops off. It will run like that. Yeah, maybe. So we drop all of those down the octave. I love just trying ideas when you have no idea if they're going to work. Yes, but we need to automate the hell out of it. So we'll duplicate that channel. We can have a flipped version of it. If and when you fancy it, Logic. And then how are we going to give it some flair with some automation? Yeah, they're going to be two to play with, so do the touch trick. We now should have those two to play with. In theory, one. There's the other. Don't know why it's giving us that. Go away. So, cut off. So I reckon dead low and then flex it up for these bits. And play with that as well. Yeah, maybe not that much. I thought I could hear a weird noise and it's the dog snoring in the background. Alright, I suppose something else we could definitely tweak would be the rate here. I don't know if you automate that rate. Find out, huh? Probably not by the looks of it. Nah. So, how can we automate the rate on Hive 2 and keep it bang on in time? Because that doesn't snap. Although it does have exact readouts. Alright, let's give it a bash. Oh, it's not there. And it shows up as those readouts. Okay, sound. Although they all say 0.30. Okay. That's going to be fun. Yeah, well, that's definitely a bug because they all say the same thing no matter what I do. Okay. It's too late in the day to be dealing with bugs in Logic. Use a snap about there. Go back down. Do you know what, on that note of not being able to do this, I'm going to wrap up for the night. But guys, it's been an absolute pleasure. I look forward to seeing you all again. Toodles.